Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party and my buddy Rhett. We are making another video. Um, so basically, the issue is that I want to work on next is kind of a bummer issue because it's like at the end of the day there'll be no changes. There'll be no juice from this squeeze, but there'll be it'll the code will probably be a little bit easier for me to sort of make sense of. It's not hard to make sense of now, but um, it is uh, like what would be a good word? It is like not consistent with the way the rest of the code is. So basically, right now, what happens is I have this array, which I think makes a lot of sense of these things, array of objects that describe what's going on here. And for the most part, I just say, hey, get a base renderer. But the problem is over here, and I call like a function and all that. But here, what I do is I kind of compose an a a an object, and I just apply it. So it's sort of different. It would be better, I think, if I could just pass information in a some kind of information, and then it would do that. And I would love to not have to understand this at the app component level, or at the creation level. I would love to be able to just be able to read what I want to do. But if you think about it, there's a lot going on. Um, Basically, I have this animation, and part of it is the alias, which is really just the ThreeJS path. So it's in a mesh, it's on rotation, it's the X, and then I say like what kind of it is, and then how often it should be redrawn, and then the time, um, which I don't remember what that is. Don't remember what time is for, and then values, which I think um, values would make more sense in a different type of animation. Like if I had instead of a continuous, let's say I had some sort of discrete, and I just wanted to go from one spot to the next. Oh, okay. I think that time does make sense in that world. So let's say every second I wanted it to rotate through three different spots in a discrete way, then time would make sense. Even with continuous time makes sense because that's probably when it should like reset every 1 second, reset every 4 seconds, whatever. Um, but anyways, there's a lot going on. So what I would really like is to be able to just call a function and just pass it parameters so that I'm saying, hey, I want you to rotate, um, and then I don't, and I would like to pass it in the mesh, and I want it to be continuous, and I want the time, maybe all of those be individual um, arguments, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like that could get out of hand pretty quickly. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, I guess all we can do is just start down the path. So I know we currently have animation service. So let's say we want to create an animation service. The idea is we want to create a function that you call that will assign a animation to a mesh. So basically, um, I guess we would want that the mesh part to be um, in the service. I don't think we need to give it the alias. So it would be like um, set mesh rotation. I don't think we have to say animation because it is an animation service. Set mesh rotation. And then it seems like X infinite. It seems like everything else should be like kind of standalone arguments. So let's just go ahead and try that on, see how it fits. Um, So set, that's crazy, mesh rotation. And then the first thing will be axis. And that is going to be of a certain type. And let's just say that it doesn't return anything. And then the axis is of type, I don't remember. Rhett, I just don't remember. Let's see if we have it in our interfaces. Animation. Type. So we have these alias types. I guess that's what we want, is a 3-path pass alias type. It's kind of a bummer. I think the how about maybe we'll add a new one called like supported mesh types. Supported no, I think it needs to be the 3. Unfortunately, yeah, I would love for it to not have to know this much, but 3-path type. And let's come over here, and this is a 3-path type. And then work it out. Are you working out, Rhett? Okay, so I guess a repath. It should be singular, and I don't know what its problem is here. Are we importing our interface? I would imagine we're importing. Doesn't look like we want this. Oh, there we go. Now it's blue. It wasn't blue a second ago. There we go. All right. So basically now so alias type has actually the fact that it's a mesh and it's a rotation. So I don't know, maybe we should just say set animation. And then sort of break it, let this thing break that down. And then let's see, let's go back to our app component. What else do we have? We have our alias, we have the temporal type, temporal, which is of type, let's go back to our ST animations, so limits or infinite. So I guess that redraw, and the time is number, yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what time was about. And since this is going to be a ton, I guess we'll do this. And man, I'm hoping I come up with a better sort of way to do this. I don't like this right now. It definitely does not give me a so we probably want to make these types so that we can reuse that. Export type. right now we only support 2 temporal types, which is limits and infinite. What other types we could have? I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not like, I don't know. I think I'm still a bit under the like I'm not quite, my brain isn't quite hitting on all cylinders right now. Kind of feels like that's all there is limited, limits, and infinite. But I guess limits, maybe limits matter, values matters for limits, and infinite. Yeah, that's probably what it is. So values matter for limit, and for infinite time is what matters. Now, I don't know. I don't know. It made so much sense when I did it. I remember it all making total sense. All right, so temporal types is what we want this second thing to be. It's kind of funny how like things can just make total sense at some point, and then you come back a couple weeks later and they don't make a bit of sense. All right, let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have? We have redraw. Let's come over here into our, okay, so redraw types. Okay, so just this one I think makes a lot of sense to me, and that is like this, I think discrete would be like sort of popping in between different numbers. So every second it pops. I just got so the thing that I wrote for my paralegal thing is starting to get a bunch of different responses. So, and everybody's been super positive so far. So that is nice. Very definitely at this point, very, very different than my experience with software developers. Generally, when you write code, people have very strong opinions about very abstract things and tend to think that their abstract opinions are like the end of the world if it doesn't. They just start flipping out. Okay, so this was, let's see, this was redraw. And that is going to be of type, is it redraw? Oof. Okay, yeah, my brain definitely is not functioning as efficiently as it normally does. Redraw types, and we'll bring that in. And then, this might end up being all the different attributes I need, though. It seems like we can get a lot done with these attributes. Then time. Man, I wish what was I thinking? Time, and that's a number. And then last but not least, values. And that is an array of numbers. Number array. All right, so that is that. And so basically it's going to take all of those things. And I think the number, I think we can set defaults for this one and this one. It is kind of weird though. Yeah, maybe time, like time probably only works with a temporal of, what are my temporal types? Limits. Then that time works. That's probably, yeah, limits is probably like the where it ends. So like if it was 5, then it would go all the way to 5 seconds and then reset. Go all the way to 5 seconds and reset. Whereas infinite, like if it will just keep on making the number bigger and bigger and bigger and then never reset. Yeah, that's probably what time is for. And then values probably only works with discrete. I think that makes sense. All right, so now we have these values, and what we want to do is we want to create something like this out of those values. Oh, we want to also get an object, which in this case is a mesh, and a mesh is the only thing that we support at this point. Do I have that in there? So we want like supported, animatable objects is mesh. So I think this is probably supposed to be more like along the lines of, let me look at my other component. A 3 mesh. Let's see, supported 3 types. Type. We do not have 3. Import star as 3 from 3. I think I got that backwards. Oh my gosh. From 3 as. Okay, so now we know my brain is not functioning at 100% right now. Let's find a place, a very nice place where we import as 3 from 3. I could have sworn I did that. Okay. So basically, we only support a 3 mesh. So eventually we want to add lights and stuff like that. So in our animation service, we're going to want to 3 object. Oh, no. We want to add this to the ST. We're going to want to add that because I think over here we're actually taking our ST object and adding it, not. Yeah, ST scene Okay, ST mesh is the only thing we support. Okay, how do we do that? Let's go to our mesh. This is all we support, is an ST mesh. Does that work? Can that be a type? That's cool. Actually, I think my brain is not functioning well, and I don't think I realized that you could do what I just did before. So that's neat. And I don't need 3 anymore. Now, okay, so it'll take one of these, and then it'll create one of these, and it'll attach it to our ST object. But see, we actually need the mesh, not the object itself. So it should be ST. Let's go back over here. I think it should still be an ST mesh, not. Oh. Yeah, okay, it is. I will only accept an ST mesh. And so basically it's going to be ST object dot ST animations push, and then animation 1. So that's kind of what we want to do, but let's change this to animation, and then change this to animation over here, and then basically all of these will get passed in. So this is alias is our path. Temporal is temporal. Redraw. And values. And then I guess it makes sense to just name this alias. There's no reason to name this path. And then it's going to push it to here. It's going to basically take this, throw it into an object, and then push it onto the to its animations list. So now we're not actually setting it, we're adding an animation. All right, it is 8:36. Okay, so now what I want to do instead is I'm still looping, which is not what I want, but I think it will be a step in the right direction. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Sort of not 1,000% sure exactly what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so basically I'm saying if index is equal to 0, then I'm going to go into each mesh, which I think there's only one, if I remember correctly. So const mesh equals scene meshes, S2 meshes, 0. Oh my gosh. I do that a lot of times. I'll put O instead of 0. And sometimes I'll even do that with my name. I'll put, my last name is Trujillo, it ends with an O, and I'll put a 0 there. Sometimes it's the weirdest thing. Okay, so that's the mesh I want to do. And then I'm going to call that function. This dot animation service dot add animation, and I'm going to give it the mesh that I just got, and I'm going to give it the text. I never really settled in on whether you use single quotes or double quotes. Okay, I'm going to put this on the next line. Temporal. Oh, infinite. I don't understand why it's not giving me help there. See, it helped me there. I don't know. I don't know why every line it keeps getting a little farther back. Let's see. Should go twice as fast. So yeah, it's going twice as fast. You notice this guy right here is moving twice as fast. So now if I comment out this line, it should drop back down to its normal sort of pace. And so now so I could make this 3 times as fast. I don't know if it'll look 3 times as fast because rotation is kind of funny. Yeah, so that is that. I do think that is better. We know that, I guess this can be index instead of meshes. No, because that's the index. So we're saying the first scene, like we're actually iterating over all of the renderers, and then digging all the way down into the scene to get the first mesh, is just assuming that there's just one mesh, and then we're passing the mesh in. I think infinite is the only thing that we support. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like having it all on one line, unfortunately. So we could change this to Y. Z. Back to X. So I definitely feel like that's a step in the right direction. It's probably not the I mean, you know, I don't think we want to be, well, we probably don't have any choice at this point, but to iterate over all the scenes and update them independently like that until we get the manual update. But I do think this is probably a step in the right direction for animations, um, moving it away from a like sort of knowing everything about the object and just knowing what's in it is probably better. I think this, so I think we can just copy and paste this whole thing. Just change this to Y. Nope. What was it before? I thought it was Y. Oh, the next one is Y. Okay, so I don't know. I guess we should go like that. And then this one, change that one to Z. .44, I still have 16 minutes before work. And then this one, I think I add 3 of them. Okay, so this is a pretty good test. So we're going to do this. 1. Oops. And two, and we don't need to update the mesh. It's the same mesh on all 3. And 3. Boom, boom. And so basically, I should make it like, this guy right here is the one. Should make it like just be moving, I believe, along the x-axis 3 times as fast. Yeah. So, but what I wanted was x, y, and z. And I do think that this reads a little bit better. It kind of gets lost in the fact that this is multiplies, but it says, you know, add animation, add animation. So we definitely get the gist that we're adding an animation, whereas before, I don't think that we had that. I think this extra little line here makes the code a little bit easier to understand. Before we were just trying creating we were just like creating an object and just assigning it into an array called animations. So that was you know, I think that was a lot of information, but adding, now we know we're adding an animation. Maybe we probably should return the actual animation, because I believe an animation, does it have an ID? Because we probably will need to be able to delete animations. So let's, while we're here, so an animation does not have an ID. So we really do need to add that functionality. Again, that's just like one of those things that's just work that's not going to result in any visual change. But it seems like an ST animation really needs an ID, and that ID needs to be unique. And so that's going to cause all kinds of issues, and it is an ST ID. So let's make that clear, and that's going to be a number, and that's a comma. And what should happen is just shit should just break everywhere because it is required. So it is dying on line 86. Maybe that's the only place. Let's see. So if I just hard code a 1 into there, definitely do not want that to stay that way. So let's see. STID :1. Okay, so basically, yeah, at this point in our add animation function, we want to get an ID. And I don't think we do that yet. And we probably should just return the ID. Okay, so we do get IDs like when we create an ST render. Yeah, so we want to do something like this. And that'll keep that'll keep this ID. The whole point of this whole thing is to keep the ID unique. So the name of this is recycle sequence service. So up here, we're gonna bring in our recycle sequence service. We should end up with a little blue helper. And then, so this guy is going to return not a void, but a number. And it's going to return so later on when we add the ability to delete animations, we will have a number to go find our animation that we want to delete. And we're back, baby. So I think that's everything I want to do along these lines. I can't remember what's next. I know we have another. Oh, okay, now the next thing I want to do is some system, which is going to be a lot bigger of a lift, but a system for figuring out where these things should be laid out. Because I need to build that like architecturally from the bottom up. We don't have any framework for that whatsoever yet. So that is the next step. So basically, I think all of this is handled in the app component template. So all of this thing needs to be basically become much more complicated to be able to have multiple lines and then and determine where it should be based on the amount. And I think at first I'm just going to assume that everything's the same width. And I think in this situation these should actually be farther apart. I believe that if you turn this into if you actually look at the actual object, yeah, see it's bigger. So right now they're sort of being jammed up on each other, but this should be probably already on 2 rows. But anyways, so that is that. I'll probably do a commit tomorrow. Well, I guess I need to do unit tests because I don't think there's going to be any unit tests around that existing animation code. I think that's going to be easy though. Let's go look at the animation service. So yeah, we're going to have to create an ST mesh and then run this thing and then just see that animation exists on the ST mesh. So that should be easy, but we will need to add one, so it's going to be a little bit of work. I don't think this will have any effect on end-to-end testing. So, and I have 8 minutes to work. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.